Let's go, let's go. Welcome to America Unfiltered. Overseer Ron, I'm looking at a nation. No spin, no filter, just the truth. I'm looking at a nation, standing at a crossroads. People chasing dreams while carrying heavy loads. Prices going up, paychecks staying low. Everybody asking where the middle class go. Turn on the TV, hear the same old fight. Left versus right, every single night. But out in the streets where the real folks live, people need solutions, not another negative. Working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. Trying to put food on the family table to eat. Is the dream fading, or is it still alive? Yeah.
America Unfiltered. Let's tell the truth tonight. Talking about what people need.
Small town factories closing down.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of America Unfiltered. I'm your host, Overseer Ron. I hope all is well with everyone on this evening. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most important and misunderstood topics in modern life. We will talk and we will discuss the economy. Understanding the economy, how it works, why it matters, and what's changing. We hear about it every day. Inflation, you hear the terms, inflation, interest rates, unemployment, GDP, recessions, booms, crashes. But most people never get a clear, simple explanation of what all this actually means. So on tonight's show, we're going to discuss what all this actually means. So for the next hour, 45 minutes to hour, we're going to break down the economy in a way that's easy to follow, practical, and connected to real life. And by the end of this video, you'll understand what the economy really is and how money flows through. How money flows through society. Why prices rise. What causes recessions. How government and central banks influence the economy. Why some people get rich while others struggle. And what the future of the economy looks like. So, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. All right, what is the economy? What is the economy? The economy is simply the system of how people produce and sell things. Every time you buy groceries, pay rent, get a paycheck, invest in a business, or even watch your ads online, you're participating in the economy. Think of the economy like a giant network of changes. People trade times, skills, and labor for money. Business trade products, sell for money. Government collects money through taxes and through public services and spend through public services. Okay, that's the economy. The flow of money. See, we have to understand the flow of money. To understand it, you have to understand how money flows. Money moves through 3 major groups. Households, these are everyday people. Workers, families, consumers. They earn money through wages, salaries, investments, and government benefits. Businesses produce goods and services. They pay workers, buy materials, invest in equipment, and try to make a profit. The government collects taxes and spends money on roads, schools, healthcare, defense, and so on. So that's the flow of money for the economy. Then the third thing we'd like to talk about on tonight, about we're understanding how the economy works. Supply and demand. One of the most important concepts in economics is supply and demand. Demand is how much people want something. Supply is how much of that thing exists. Prices rise when demand is high and supply is low. Prices fall when demand is low and supply is high. This explains. That's why everybody's upset right now about these gas prices. So this explains why gas prices spike during global conflicts, why housing prices rise when cities grow faster than home construction, why new technology starts expensive and becomes cheaper over time. Supply and demand is the visible force shaping almost everything you buy. Another thing we're going to talk about is the inflation, right? The inflation. What is the inflation? Have we heard that inflation is high? The rise of the inflation? We hear that every day, right? With everything that's going on in the world right now, we hear this every day. The inflation. Politicians talk about the inflation. All right. 9 times out of 10, if the inflation is high, depending on how high it is, the president normally don't be reelected. You know, if he has a bad economy, he normally don't be reelected. Right? If he's eligible to be reelected. So inflation is when prices rise over time. When prices rise over time. That is inflation. When prices rise over time. If a gallon of milk costs $3 today and $3.30 next year, that's inflation. Why does inflation happen? So let us understand, why does inflation happen? Okay, why does inflation happen? Inflation happens why? Demand increases. People buy more, so businesses raises prices. Supply decreases. Shortages make products more expensive. Production costs rise. If wages or material cost more, businesses charge more. Government prints more money. More money chasing the same amount of goods, increasing price. Is inflation always bad? I heard the President of the United States said the other day, he loves inflation, high inflation. So is inflation always bad? Not necessarily. Small amount of inflation, around 2%, is normal and healthy. Let us get that. It's normal and healthy. It encourages spending and investments, but high inflations hurt people. High inflation hurts people. Okay. All right. Let's talk about now the interest rates. Let's talk about tonight the interest rates. We hear people talk about the interest rates all of the time. The interest rates. What's the interest rate? Don't we hear that? What is the interest rate? Okay, what is the interest rate? All right, interest rates are the cost of borrowing money. They're controlled by the central bank. They're controlled by the central bank. That's the interest rate. Controlled by the central bank in the United States. That's the Federal Reserve Bank. So have we heard that the Fed is going to drop the interest rate? Okay, he's going to drop the interest rate. And everybody get excited. Why? It's because when interest rates go up, borrowing becomes expensive. Mortgages cost more. Credit card debt grows faster. Businesses slow down. Expansions. The economy cools off. When the economy cools off, when interest rates goes down, borrowing becomes cheaper. People buy what? They buy more homes and cars. Businesses invest more. That's the interest rate. That's why the Fed will drop the interest rate. Why? They begging for the Fed to drop interest rates. Why do they beg for the Fed to drop interest rates? It's so that people can start buying. So that people can start buying again. Mortgages. They'll purchase homes. They'll purchase cars. When the interest rate goes down. When the interest rate goes down. Now, we also have heard the word GDP and economic growth. GDP, what that stands for? Gross domestic product, is the total value of everything a country produces in a year. It includes goods, services, government spending, business investment, export minus imports. When GDP grows, the economy is expanding. When GDP shrinks, the economy is contracting. But GDP doesn't tell the whole story. A country can have high GDP, but still have poverty. They still could have poverty, even though they got high GDP. They still can have poverty. Okay, let's look at the next one. Unemployment. Unemployment. Unemployment measures how many people want a job but can't find one. High unemployment means businesses are struggling, people have less money, spending drops, the economy slows. Low employment means businesses are hiring, people have money, spending increases, the economy grows, but extremely low unemployment can cause inflation. Extremely low employment can cause what? Inflation. Let me repeat that. Extremely low employment can cause inflation. So that's it, unemployment. We're understanding how the economy work on tonight. How the economy work. Okay, haven't we ever heard people talk about a recession? Understanding the economy now, a recession. A recession is a period of economic decline. It usually includes falling GDP, rising unemployment, lower consumer spending, business closures. What causes recession? Financial crisis, high interest rate, pandemics causes inflation. Pandemics. Supply chain disruption. causes inflation. Asset bubbles bursting. Recessions are painful, but they are also part of the natural economic cycle. So we're understanding how the economy works. And we're living in a day now, we have high interest rate, we have high unemployment, we have, right now the country just like, right now, everybody's hurting in this country. Not everybody, the billionaires, millionaires not hurting. But the common people are hurting right now in this country. High interest rates, high inflation, high unemployment. So it's important that we know how the economy works. How the economy works. It's very important that we know this. So we talked about recession. Now next, we're going to talk about wealth, inequality, and opportunity. The economy doesn't affect everyone equally. That's what we was talking about a few minutes ago. It does not affect everybody the same. Some people benefit more than others because of their education. They have access to capital, access to money, their location, technology, family wealth, job type. Why inequality grows? We talk about the haves, the have-nots. Why does inequality grows in this country? Let's talk about America. Why inequality grows? High-paying jobs require specialized skills. So we tell people, we often hear people, you don't need a 4-year degree. In some cases, you are correct if you have a specialized skills, right? Where you can own your own business. You can own your own heating and air company, with a specialized, your own welding company, your own electrical company, because you have a specialized skill. You don't necessarily have to have a 4-year degree. Okay, technology replaces low-skilled jobs. Technology does. Wealth generates more wealth through investments. We see that now. People investing. We see the President of the United States investing in cryptocurrency. A lot of other people are investing in crypto or the stock market. Okay? And there are some many wealthy people who have became wealthy because they invested in the stock market or the cryptocurrency. Okay? We talk about why inequality grows. Housing costs rise faster than wages. In other words, your outcome is more than your income. Why would I go and lease an apartment for $2,000 a month when I'm making $3,000 a month? Why would I do that? Okay. Why inequality grows? Globalization shifts jobs overseas. Don't let nobody fool you. Jobs are still being shipped overseas. Why? Because business owners, they get cheaper labor overseas. That's part of the globalization. Okay? So the globalization shifts jobs overseas. So understanding inequality helps explain why so many people feel the economy is booming while others feel left behind. There are some people today feel like the economy, when they look at the stock market, when they look at, they look at investments, and they'll say, I'm doing fine. And Trump not bothering me. Right? While others who's working lower paying jobs are feeling the heat from the high interest rates. They're feeling the heat of low paying jobs. They're feeling the heat of the high gas prices. They're feeling the heat because the food prices is high. They're feeling the heat, and they're being affected by what's going on. But the millionaires and billionaires, you ask them, everything is fine here in America. You ask them, the investor, the wealthy not paying their fair share of taxes. You ask them how everything is going. Tax cuts for the rich. They'll say, hey, everything is going fine. But the common man is out there today saying, no, everything is not going fine. Okay, everything is not going fine. And I just have a problem. This is what I have a problem with. And let me keep reiterating the problem that I have with America. How can we send billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to fight an illegal war or to fight another war in the Middle East, another unnecessary war in the Middle East? But on the home front, we still battling the homeless rate. It has came down some, but the homeless rate in America is still pretty high. People that needs a hand up, not a handout. People that go to work every day, but still cannot find a good paying job. Those people are suffering right now. Why they can't have a hand up, but we can spend billions upon billions of dollars, then we're gonna have to spend more billions of dollars, right? More billions of dollars. Why? Because we tore up the country. Part of the agreement is gonna be Iran gonna want money to rebuild their country. So guess what? The United States of America will have to do part of the deal. I read some of the deal. We're going to have to put some money in there to go and rebuild another country. But we don't have enough money right here in America to look out for the poor people. That's our civic duty, is to look out for less fortunate people to whom much is given, much is required. That means that if I'm sitting in the office and I'm elected to the office of the President of the United States, and I'm elected to the office of senator, governor, local office, mayor, councilman, commissioner, we have been given much, and much is required for us to do more to help our people. Much money, we're the richest country on this planet. We print money in Washington, D.C. There should not be any starving people in America. Should not be. Hungry folk in America. I said the word, should not be. But the fact of the matter is, we still have a lot of people who are struggling Higher taxes affects who? It does not. It affects the middle class and the lower class. We reap the struggle because of it. The rich people, it does not affect them because half of them don't anyway. Okay, so the common person in America is the one that's catching it, not the rich people. You know, employers, owners of businesses making billions of dollars, some of them millions and billions of dollars, but allowed to pay a minimum wage of $7.50 an hour. So why can't we increase? We say we want people to work. You want to get people off welfare. You know, you want people to not be dependent upon the government, but there are some people that simply need help from the United States government, and some of them out there working. They work and still, you talking about the SNAP benefits? You have a lot of people that work every day that still receive the SNAP benefits. Why? Because they're working and they're not receiving or making enough money so they can pay their bills. A lot of people having to choose between, you know, paying utilities or buying food. A lot of people out here depending on SNAP benefits. It's not that they're too lazy to work. I think one of the requirements now was you have to have a job. They simply need a hand up, not a handout, because they're out here trying. But we the richest. We're the richest country on this planet. And then we're going to talk about we are Christians, and Republicans are always throwing up God. You know, in God we trust. God, God, God. But yet, I don't understand how they're trying to cut anything that benefits poor people. Anything that benefits poor people or to help poor people. They're trying to cut all the benefits. But yet, we are Christians, they are Christians, Christian, God, God. But anything to help somebody, they're against it. I don't understand. We are the richest country on this planet. And some of the stuff that's happening in this country should not be happening. Simply because we are one of the richest planet. Are there people some people out there that don't want to? Yes, a lot of people out there don't want to work. Some people do want a handout, but that's not everybody. Majority is not those that want a handout. You cannot sit and depend on the government, the small amount of money they receive every month, just simply off the government. Nobody could make it off just assistance from the government. Nobody can make it off that. There are people out there working, they're trying, but they just don't make enough money. If you want to complain about people, raise the minimum wage. Raise the minimum wage. Instead of calling people lazy and they don't want to work, some people out there are lazy, don't want to work. But there are some out there that is trying and just simply need a hand up. That's what they simply need. Now, let's move to the future of the economy? What's the future? The future don't look bright right now. For a lot of people, for some it might do. But a lot of people, common people, the future does not look bright. So what is the future of the economy? The economy is changing. Right now we deal with the stock market. We deal with cryptocurrency. So the economy is changing. Automation and AI, machines and algorithms are replacing repetitive jobs. Yes. But behind that, new jobs will emerge. I see ads all the time talking about AI jobs. AI jobs. New jobs will emerge. But workers must adapt. Start talking about the automation jobs, the AI. We'll change it. Everything is changing in the world. The world is evolving. So either we adapt or either we get left behind. So right now, the economy, automation, AI is one of the changes that's taking place right now. Not only in the United States of America, but in the world itself. Digital currency. Right? Cryptocurrency and digital payments are reshaping how money moves. This cryptocurrency and digital payments are reshaping how money moves. It's taking over the world. Cryptocurrency has taken over the world. Adapt, or we get left behind. And that's why our people need to be educated. We need to be educated on what's going on. A lot of people never even heard of cryptocurrency. A lot of people have not. That's why I said we got to adapt, we got to educate ourselves, become more informed of what's going on in the world. So we're talking about now the future of the economy. Okay? We have remote work going on. A lot of work has been done remotely. Online jobs. Right? Why are we having online jobs and people working remotely? Because companies are rethinking offices, cities, and now they're hiring globally. Right? So they can hire globally. That means that you don't have to live in New York City to have a job in New York City working online. So this opens everything up. You can hire people globally. Why did they do that? Because when you hire people globally, countries compete for talent, technology, and resources when you hire people globally. Okay, now we have to look at climate and energy. The climate change is not a hoax. It's not a hoax at all. Climate and energy. We're talking about the future of the economy. Renewable energy and climate policies will reshape industries. Okay? Then we look at the demographics. The future of the economy. Aging populations in many countries will change markets and government spending. The future economy will reward adaptability, creativity, and digital skills. Aging populations in many countries will change labor markets and government spending. Talking about the future of the economy. The future economy will reward. We got to be able to adapt and be able to be creative and have digital skills. Basic computer knowledge nowadays will put you in the door to land a six-figure job. Just getting online with basic computer knowledge. It opens doors. So in our conclusion on tonight about the future of the economy. The economy is not a mystery. It's a system built on human behavior. The economy is not a mystery. It is a system built on human behavior. Money flow, production, and decision making. When you understand supply and demand, inflation, interest rates, unemployment, recessions, and long-term trends. You understand the forces shaping your daily life. Whether you are a worker, business owner, investor, or student, knowing how the economy works gives you power, the power to make better decisions, plan for the future, and navigate change with confidence. Thanks for spending this time with me on this evening. I hope something has been said to enlighten us and make us better understand how the economy works and what makes it grow and what makes it work. Or what is the economy? I hope I have said something here tonight, and I hope I have shared something here tonight that'll help all of us understand one of the things that affects all of us each and every day. And that is the economy. Until next time, peace, love, and happiness.
American Filter.
Overseer Ron.